episode 3986. Where do I run first?
Moms, it's time to rediscover, rejuvenate, and renew who you are in mind, body, and spirit. Welcome to Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie, the show to help you do just that. Here's your host, certified life coach, personal trainer, and nutritionist, Christiane Wargo.
Happy day. It's Friday. It's time to do the happy dance because, yes, that means your weekend is here. You get to enjoy it. Maybe you get to take a deep breath. Maybe there's some sunshine around the corner and your snow's melting. Regardless, it's all about confessions. Where do I run first? For those of you who are brand new to Create Your Now, welcome to this incredible family. I'm so delighted of your presence. If you already haven't had the opportunity, you want to head on over to createyournow.com where you can learn more and sign up for the Kisses newsletter. The Keep It Simple strategy, everyday solutions to live, love, and impact. Well, this episode is brought to you by AIM, Inspiring Connection and Community. Okay, so a couple things. One, have you looked at your calendar? Yes, can you believe it? We are a day away from March 1st. Can I just say, holy Toledo, it is coming on strong. We're going to be in the third month of 2026, and we are in for a ride. In fact, I was writing an old-fashioned check. Do you even know what that is? Yes. And I was writing the date, and I think it might have only been like the second check I'd written for the entire, since the new year. And I almost wrote 2025. And I'm like, wait, what? It's moving so fast, and pretty soon, once we get 2026 down, knowing that that's where we are, it's going to be 2027. So take a deep breath because, life is kind of crazy out there, right? And when it comes to parenting, life can get messy. And let's be honest, parents, us, and kids face this terrifying question. Where do I run first? Where do I go for safety? And it's not about geography. It's about the who and what that can catch us when we're falling apart under overwhelm and struggle. And if parents don't provide a safe fallback, kids often sprint towards friends and teachers or coaches or even romantic interests. Yeah, those sweethearts. Oh, I just know he loves me. Places that might get them or might just judge or reject them, might lead them down a path that they really shouldn't be going. Why? Because they're in a vulnerable stage. They're in this moment of they really need someone around them that's not going to shelter them, but can hold them tight, speak love into them and truth, and know that whatever they say, they don't have to worry about it because they're safe. And really this question, where do I run first, strips parenting to its core responsibility. Are we raising kids who know our love is a rock, not a reward? That's a hard one. If I was to go up and talk to your children, if you have grandchildren or nieces and nephews, whatever it is, if I was to go and ask them and say, hey, does Auntie Sue do this? Or does, Aunt Nancy does this, or does Nana do this? Whatever it is, do you know that she loves you unconditionally? Or is it one of those things that's nope, it's a reward if I do what I'm told? Because nothing kills trust faster than transactional love. The kind that whispers, you have to earn my care. You have to do what I say when I say it. And I'm not talking about discipline here. Don't get me wrong. Don't mistake what I'm saying. But transactional love is a real deal right now. It's a real deal because of the mental state that our younger parents are in. And when I say younger parents, meaning younger than me. So that's a lot of parents. And it is from the parents that are millennials all the way down to even the oopsies. Why? Because they've been shown transactional love too. Nowadays, we focus on sports and performance. We have social media that rewards attention. Oh, look how many likes I got. It's pretty ridiculous when we've got first and second and third graders talking about, I got this many likes on my Instagram post. Really? Really? Is that what life is all about? You have to earn my care. You have to earn my attention. You have to earn my love. What would the kiddos in your life say? Because here's the truth. No one at any age wants to unload their biggest fears and failures onto someone who's counting points or judging through the lens of rigid morals and values, where you have to draw the hard line. That's a hard pill for parents, right? But the stakes are high. And the crazy thing is there's this mirror effect. Kids can see right through it. The facade that you're putting on, like, oh, well, they really don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm just going to dangle the carrot. It works better. I don't have to argue with them as much. You don't have to argue at all. You can be firm and be consistent and love unconditionally. That all goes hand in hand. Are you going to get it right all the time? No. But see, here's the thing. When it comes to the kiddos, they can sniff out if your love is real or just a performance. They know. They begin to see it when they're just itty bitty. And I'm talking about when they're little toddlers. They know when, oh, yeah, mama wants me to do this. If you're always asking your child, oh, well, do this, and then they get applause. And that's when you give the hugs and all of that. I'm not saying that's wrong, but hear me out. But then you don't show anything else until you do that same thing again. What do you think you're feeding that child? In their mind, I have to perform in order to get applause, in order to be loved, in order to get attention. Our kiddos should know that they are loved regardless of what they do. We may not like their actions, but we need to love them unconditionally. You know, our kids notice when your affection depends on their grades, their behavior, or achievements. They can sniff that out. And that's a deal breaker. Because when the chips are down, what they really need is a refuge that says, no matter what, I'm here for you. I've got you. I'm going to catch you if you fall. And if they don't find that first at home, I promise you they're going to get it somewhere else. And it might not be a place that helps them grow. In fact, it might be a place that unfortunately may take them down a further path than you ever wanted. A dark path that takes a long, long time to come back from. They may be emotionally abused, psychologically abused, even spiritually abused. There's so many things that go into this. But I know as parents, we're not sitting around thinking about this. Oh, well, just what I do. And you don't think about it because you think you're doing something great. The kids get older. They're in middle school and high school, going into college. You may have some kiddos that are in college now or out of college. And now you're celebrating, guess what? My kid's getting married. It's so awesome. Woohoo, success. And look at her fiance. And you celebrate that. But what happened 4 years prior to it? All right. Is it all about pleasing? Is it all about achievement? Is it all about the accolades that says, oh, that's when mama loves me the most? That's when daddy pays attention? Be careful. Be cautious. Because if your kid's first run isn't to you, oh, my friend, that's your signal right there. And that's hard. That is a hard thing for us to grip. And it may be different if you have multiple kiddos. They're all unique. One kid could change and be totally different and think that, oh, yeah, mom does it. Mom loves me to pieces. Would not think anything of it. But the other kid, they're like, yeah, nope. I don't think mom loves me at all. So the question for us as parents comes down to, how do we build that go-to foundation of unconditional love, not just in word, but in practice? That is your Kiss to Keep It Simple strategy. Build a go-to foundation, a house that's full of unconditional love. That there's so much that if you held it in a sponge, you could wring out the amount of love that there is. And I know deep down, I know your heart. You love your kiddos. You would do anything for your children. I know you. But I also know that we don't talk about this stuff because we don't think, not that it doesn't matter. It's just that we don't think about it because we think our kids already know that they love us or that we love them. Wait, let's try that again. That we love them. And we think we already know that they know that we love them. regardless of anything. But try to remember, did you ever have that conversation with them? When things were really tough? When they had some major decisions to make? Did you ever say, you know what, regardless of the decision you make, I'm going to be here for you? When was the last time you said that? I love you unconditionally. You may make decisions that I don't agree with. You're an adult now. Even as kiddos, they can be playing in the park. And your child goes and takes a handful of sand and throws it in a child's face. That's not something you want to be proud of your kiddos. You may not like them actually throwing the sand, but you still love your child. Do you see the difference? But unfortunately, in our society today, in our world today, we're taught more about transactional love than we are about unconditional love. The way Jesus loves us, the way God says, I love you. You're fearfully and wonderfully made. Yet God does discipline just like we should as parents too. He doesn't always like our actions, but he loves us unconditionally. Are we extending that to our own children? I would hope that we are. Maybe we need to do it more often. Maybe we need to say, I love you more often. I've talked to many friends of mine, and it's interesting. I'll have a handful that will say, oh yeah, I grew up and my parents always said, I love you. And then I'll have another handful that says, I never heard I love you. And now I can't say it enough to my children. You got to find the harmony for love in your household. What does that look like? And honestly, it comes from you. So if you kind of have this like, oh, Christiane, this just isn't settling right, then there's more to that. And it may have nothing to do with how you're raising your kiddos. It may have more to do as to how you were raised. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just know that you may want to reflect on that a little bit. Tap into those feelings that are there. Don't hang out there for a long time, but honor them. Know that, okay, this is coming up for me. Do some journaling on it. And say, okay, what can I do? You may need to have a hard conversation with your parents and say, you know what? I never felt like you loved me. Now, let me tell you this, though. If you're having that conversation and you've got some younger but adult kiddos, understand this. Their memories, what they remember now, isn't exactly what happened when they were growing up. So understand that they're going to see things through what? Other people's eyes. And unfortunately, their memories are also tainted by what they see in social media, what they hear, even the relationships that they've had. I'm talking about with other people that supposedly love them. They could sit there and say horrible things about you and try to twist memories. That happens all the time nowadays, which is very, very sad. Because you see, we live in a world that, it's got to be all about me. And let me tell you, there's a lot of men out there that want it all about them. And I'm not going to get derailed here, but there's a lot of problems with men saying to our women that you need to make me your number one. And so they'll do anything they can to convince you that anything that happened in your childhood was worse than what it really was. Manipulation will become a thing. So dig into that a little bit and understand that you don't want your children going down a road. And I'm not just saying it's men. Women can be just as manipulative as men can be. So be cautious for your young men out there, your children, right? Your boys. It's important that you have some of these harder conversations that opens up the door that says, no matter what happens, understand mama's door, daddy's door is always open, unconditionally. And yeah, I may have questions depending upon what the situation is, but no, I love you. May not like the actions, may not like your decisions, right? Because as our kids get older, and I'm talking about from 18 months on, right? They start learning that their actions have consequences, good or bad. They begin to learn that. But unfortunately, we've got a lot of people out there that's saying, yeah, but the only way I'm going to love you is if you do what I tell you to do, when I tell you to do it. That's not love. That's a transaction. That's saying, hey, I'm going to give you a credit card, and when I think you deserve it, I'll up the reward, and yep, cha-ching, you can have my love today, but in another 2 days, I may not care. We don't need our children to feel that way. We want to have a generation that's up and coming that will have children that are resilient as we are growing up. And if something, again, is coming up for you and you haven't thought about counseling, therapy, I would encourage you to go explore that. Because there may be some things within you that you need to overcome. And as a woman of impact, I know you can do it. I have no doubt. But it's important for us to know where our own hearts are, because if we do not have a full heart, we can't serve, right? You can't serve from an empty cup. You can't serve from an empty heart. And our words and our actions and our thoughts reflect that. So whatever this is stirring up within you, don't bury it, is what I'm trying to tell you. Sit with it. It's okay. Don't be afraid of it. If you need to, reach out to me, connect@createyournow.com. Say, Christiana, I don't know. And if it's just to write, I'm telling you right now, it only comes to me. Nobody else has access to that email but me. Okay? I guard this very, very carefully. You know how I feel. My strength is my story. Your strength is your story. So if you have no one to turn to, and you're like, I just got to get this out, I don't know who to do it, who to tell, you can tell me. And know that I'm already praying for you. God's got you. And it's hard. It is so hard in the world that we live in today. I was just flipping channels. I was traveling. I'm home for a few days, so I'm out traveling again. And it's very interesting, the amount of shows that are on out there. And the new ones, honestly, this is just my opinion. You don't have to agree with me, but I'm just going to give you my opinion. A lot of them are not worth watching. They're not that creative. Comedy isn't comedy anymore. Comedy is, I'm just going to tear you down. That's comical? I don't think so. Our world has changed. And unfortunately, that means our family structure is changing. So we, as women of impact, we have to look at ourselves and say, what can I do? What is in the best interest of my family, of my children? And I don't care if you're a single mom, a married mom, dads too. It doesn't matter. We have to know the foundation of which we are building our family. And you got that power, and you can change it. If you're like, gosh, it was really rough when the kids were little, that's all right. That doesn't mean you failed as a mom or dad. You can make those changes. It's okay. So what does it look like to build this go-to foundation of unconditional love, if I can actually speak it? All right, number 1, hold space without judgment. When your child comes with bad news, a mistake, they're just upset. They've got this raw emotion, right? They're just crying just because we don't know why, but they're just crying. Lock the judgment away. Don't make an assumption as to, well, this had to happen. This is what was going on right before then. Don't sit there and think it was a sibling's issue, a friend's issue, something that happened on the phone or a text message, or if they're older, sweethearts, what? No, don't make an assumption. Lock the judgment away. Listen first, listen first, listen first, listen first. Too often, us mamas just have this knee-jerk reaction to fix. And men, I'm telling you right now, you are the worst, because you do it to us as wives. You just want to fix it and move on. Listen. And if we don't want to fix it, we want to scold or lecture. We want to tell them they should have done this, or why didn't they do that? But you see, their feelings matter, even if their choices don't. Saying I love you no matter what loses power if your face and words say, I'm disappointed. When you are talking to your children, your words should light them up in a positive way. But if you're constantly tearing them down and judging them, you are pushing them further and further away. And let me tell you, when they get older, they will run elsewhere. And sometimes it is for the better if you are, quote unquote, that kind of parent. But most of the time, I would say it's for the worse because they're running into somebody else's arms or direction, which can lead down to very, very dark alleys. And nowadays, you can let your imagination run wild on that. I don't want to speak it out into the world. I just don't want to. I don't want to say things like that. Because we know, we turn on the news, we see what's happening. So one of these ways you can hold space without judgment is practice saying, help me understand what happened. Help me understand what happened. Instead of saying, why'd you do that? What's your problem? You should have done this. Help me understand what happened. Tell me your side of the story. You want to hear their side. Yes, I know. There's two sides to every coin, but you need to listen to your child first. And it may not be what you want to hear. The truth that they're telling you may actually mean that maybe your kiddo was the mean kiddo. That happens. That's called real life. That's okay. You'll figure a way to walk through that. But you won't get to that point to be able to walk with them and beside them if you don't hold space without judgment. And let me tell you, if you don't have kids, you can take this out into your relationships. It goes for everything. You need to hold space without judgment for your girlfriends, for people at work, for your spouse, for your extended family. Help me understand what happened. And then listen. And honestly, a lot of times the lectures, the scolding, the disciplining doesn't have to come right at that immediate moment. Sometimes it just needs to be, I don't know, I don't want to talk about it. And then you need to say, do you just need me to hold you? Maybe they just need a mama's hug so the tears can fall. So they understand that mama really does love me. Even though I've messed up really, really, really bad, my mama still loves me. What would you give to have that feeling with your own mom or your own dad? Maybe you do have that. Don't take that for granted. And I pray that you're giving that gift to your children or the children that you touch and that you get to impact every day. Number 2, be consistently present, especially when it's hard. Unconditional love isn't a fair-weathered friend. And there's a lot of those in this world today. Just go on Facebook and Instagram. Go on TikTok. Everybody wants to be an influencer. I don't care if you're 5 years old or 85 years old. Everybody wants to be an influencer. I want to know that I got this many likes. It's amazing. Because we judge our success based on who sees and who shows up. Who do we know? And let me tell you that unconditional love shows up during tantrums, failures, and arguments, not just when they're hitting milestones or playing the right role, right? On tough days, your presence is the lifeline that says you can come home to me no matter how messy you are. No matter what you've done, no matter what you've said, no matter what's happened, you can come home. A kid needs to know that. And that kid does not have an age limit. It could be your 2-year-old child, or it could be your 102-year-old child. But if you're alive for that, let me tell you, I want to know, because that would be amazing. That's all I'm saying. But you get the point, right? Sometimes you have to have a little humor in all of this rough stuff, because this is tough. No one wants to sit around and have these hard conversations. In fact, sometimes I don't even think these particular episodes get listened to fully, because people are like, I got this. I love unconditionally. And I challenge you. Think again. I challenge myself every single day. I'm not a perfect parent. I learn all the time. My kids are teaching things to me all the time. My grandbabies are teaching me things all the time. I can be a better grandparent. I can be a better parent. I was a really good parent raising my children. I don't care what they remember. Their memory is served from a child's perspective. It's different. But I know, my husband knows. We did anything and everything we could for them. But I still can be a better mom. I can still be a better grandma. That doesn't make me a bad one, understand? And that doesn't make you a bad one either. If you want to grow, that shows that, wait, I really do care. Because we are to continue to grow and to learn so we can nurture deeper and wider. Because what you do for your generation now has an outreach as to what goes further. And if you've got a situation that's in your family that's kind of been passed down and it's generational, you can put a stop to that if it's negative. But a lot of times we're not thinking about that. We just think, oh, well, if I just do this, it'll all go away. It doesn't. If parenting was easy, if there was really a handbook that told us how hard parenting was, no one would procreate. No one would. Yet even after having 5 kids and now I have 2 grandbabies, I still would have 20 kids. That means I would need to have 15 more. I guess adoption is a possibility, but I have other things. I believe God's leading me in other directions, so I don't think that's the option for me right now. But we giggle at things like that. But really, we got to be honest. Are we being the parent that we've been called to be? So maybe for you, to be consistently present, maybe you need to have some one-on-one weekly time, undistracted weekly time. No phones, no judgments either. Just you and your kiddo. You saying, you know what, how are things going? And it might be a conversation. You're taking them to an activity. You're coming home from a basketball meet. March Madness is around the corner. Are you ready? No, I haven't got my grid thing together yet, but I usually don't do that. But I usually go for the underdogs anyway, but we'll leave that one for another episode. But think about if you took some of your sports stuff as seriously, or I should say, let's do it this way. What if you were to take care of your kiddos in the manner that you celebrate sports so much? Like you want to have your March Madness, right? Your bracket. You want to have it all done, and you'll stay up till 2:00 in the morning, but you won't stay up till 2:00 in the morning having a hard discussion with your child. I'm too tired. I got to go to bed. We'll talk about this later. I know. We've all been there. No judgment here. Seriously. But let me tell you this. You've got to be ready to talk when they want to. And so that undistracted time might be times where you really don't have time. I've been interrupted before. I've got stuff that I need to do that's scheduled, and they don't really understand my schedule because I can pretty much make my schedule to whatever it needs to be. And that's wonderful. That's a wonderful position to be involved in and to have that luxury. It is a luxury. I don't take that for granted. But at times I'm like, guys, you don't understand. I got to be somewhere. But I also know that there are times that they need to know that I'm there regardless, that nothing is more important than they are. So make sure you're connecting at least once a week between you and each kiddo. If you have multiple kids, you got to meet with each one of them. If you have younger kids and one older one or whatever, maybe when the other ones go to bed early or You can use that time to have conversation, and don't make it to where it's like, let's say you're married, where mom and dad are going to sit there and gang up on them. You don't want to feel like it's a gang up time, okay? As in mom and dad's coming after the kiddo and asking all these questions, because that can feel very intimidating to a child, regardless of their age. But be tenderhearted. Listen. Just let them know, and sometimes it just takes a hug. It just takes a hug so they know that you're there regardless. And then finally, number 3, model vulnerability and own your own imperfections. When parents act like they're perfect, it builds a wall. You've heard me stumble a couple times here on the podcast episode, this one right now that I'm recording. Some of the times I will take them out just because they are distractions. If I have a coughing fit, I definitely take those out. I don't take out all my ums because it's part of a conversation. I want it to be a conversation. I want you to feel like you're part of the conversation. So I want it to always feel conversational. But in this particular episode, I wanted you to see that I make mistakes too. I do double words sometimes. I trip over things. Why? Because I'm not perfect. I'm a mama. I'm a grandma. I'm not perfect. And if you're always going for perfection, all you're doing is building walls. Tear the walls down. Kids need to see that the adults they run to are human. We got enough robots, so to speak. That's in quotes, by the way, air quotes. In this world. Our kiddos need to know that it's a real deal, that hug is a real deal. That love is not transactional, because that's what a robot does. That's what a like does on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, right? Those are transactional, but not what mama brings to the table. Let me tell you, when our kids see that we're human too, that they mess up, we mess up, that we can learn and grow, they're like, wow, mama's not untouchable. Because let me tell you, if you're sitting here trying to have an ego with your kids, you better check that at the door and bury it quickly. Because an ego will not lead to a good relationship with your children, regardless of the children you interact with. But when your kiddos see that mama makes mistakes, well, not too bad. That cracks open the door for authentic connection, like it's real. And it reassures your kids that mistakes don't remove love. So maybe there will be times that you need to share a story. My strength is my story, right? Share a fail or a fear with your kid and how you navigated it. It may not be at the time when they had a mistake or did a mistake or something happened to them. It may just be a story that you share at some point. Because all of a sudden it's like, I think I need to have this conversation with my little Susie Q or whatever. Show you're not above them, but beside them. And that's so important. Most of the time, I think the parents who are, and I'm not saying this is you, but just listen to me and you'll know whether or not you identify with this or not. I don't think it's you, but you judge, right? It's not me for me to judge you. But a lot of times the parents who have this issue of, well, I've got to be better. It's all about me being better. It's my ego. It's what I'm doing. I got to one up even my children. That's where we have a problem in our family structure. You don't have to prove that you're better than your kids. You should be. You're older. Come on. That's common sense, right? So don't try to sit there and tell stories that say, well, back in the day, I had it worse. Yeah, if you want to bring some comedy into it when they're older, that's fine. But when they're little, they don't get it. They don't get it. So stop telling them that, oh, it was much tougher. You don't even get in trouble like the way I did. My dad did this or my mom did this. Stop. That doesn't serve anybody's purpose. All it does is build another row within the wall between you and your child. But there will be a time, many times over, that you can be a human being with them, and you should be, and you should share the fails. You should share your fears with your kids. If they're going to college or they're changing their career, they got married and they're having some difficulty in their relationship right now, and they're like, I didn't see this coming, Mom. Well, guess what? Mom and Dad had our time too. It was tough, but we made it through. Let me tell you what I did. Make it a short story, by the way. Don't do it for 2 hours because you'll lose them. They'll check out, right? Because we've got generations that are raised in less than 8 seconds and we've lost them. So keep that in mind too. I'm not saying you have to tell an 8-second story, but I am telling you that don't preach at them. Talk to them. Let it be a conversation. Let them ask questions. And you may be asking, why does this even matter? Well, it matters more than ever. The who that our kids run to first isn't just about the immediate comfort. It is shaping their whole approach to life's challenges. When parents embody unconditional love, kids learn where real refuge lives. They grow up confident to share pains and mistakes and fears without fear of rejection or manipulation. They don't seek validation on the playground or from a partner because they know they have a home base. Mom, you must hold this responsibility tightly. Dad, you too. Your love must be a constant landing pad, not a roller coaster. And this is hard. Why? Because life is a roller coaster. All you have to do is look in your feed, whatever you're watching, your news feed, your social media feed, turning on the news feed, like however you're getting your stuff. You could just be driving to work feed, and your traffic could tell you all the stories. And it's actually kind of scary sometimes. And I hear people say, why would you even bring children into this world? Because our children can change the world. That's why. And you get to influence that, Mama. That should put a smile on your heart. And you see, the difference is that when you're looking at what's happening and you're being that constant landing pad, that safe place, and not the roller coaster of which life is just a mess out there, they know that home is safe. They know they can come home and Mama's going to be there. Mama's going to hold them tight. Mama's going to tell them the truth. But Mama's love is unconditional, and they don't have to be worried about transactional. They don't have to perform to get a hug. And that, my friend, is what builds resilient, healthy human beings who will then be a living legacy and carry the newness of what you're trying to teach forward. So let's go back to the original question. Where do I run first? Well, it starts at home with you. Mama, you got to show up as the safe harbor, the steady heart, the unshakable yes that doesn't depend on conditions. No more transaction, all about unconditional sacrificial love that says, I love you. You don't have to prove anything to me. I love you. Because at the end of the day, when the clock strikes midnight, your carriage may turn into the pumpkins, no. But what's going to happen is your love's going to grow, because that's the kind of love every kid deserves. And that's the kind of parent you get to be. Right? You just don't lose everything. You get to build upon it. So think about what you're doing for your family within the privacy of your own four walls. What does your home feel like? Is it more transactional, or is it unconditional? And I would really encourage you to say, you know what? I really want to make it even more unconditional. I honestly think a lot of us are living unconditional love in the best way we know how, but we can do it better. And that's really what I want you to get a handle on today. Is that you may be doing it well, but we can always do it better. And we can lean in more, because there's a lot of things that are changing in this world. And our love has got to be there even as changes occur. So I want you to have a blessed weekend. Hug your babies, right? Speak life into them because they are a gift to you. I know they drive you crazy. Mine do too. I get it, right? It's confessions. It's real. But I know you love them and you would do anything for them. So don't forget to tell them this weekend and tell them more often. We'll talk to you real soon. Go out, be present, be incredible, be you. I love you so very much. I cannot wait to see you on the other side. Blessings, hugs, and lots of love. We'll talk to you real soon. Have a glorious, blessed day. Bye-bye.
Feeling inspired, ready to train for life and love your journey? Visit createyournow.com for more incredible resources to help you along the way. We'll see you next time on Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie. And remember, always be sure you consult your physician before beginning any health and fitness plan.